Hello students, we are into experiment and the title is linear wave shaping. Now, wave shaping may be defined as a process of generating new waveforms from older waveforms by employing certain physical systems. Now, depending upon the physical system involved, the methods of wave shaping may be classified into as a linear wave shaping or non-linear wave shaping. Now, in this topic or in this experiment, we are going to discuss about the linear wave shaping, and it involves the passage of signals through a linear system such as a resistor capacitor, a resistor inductor or RLC circuits. Fine. And the operation involved are linear such as integration, differentiation, summation or filtering. Fine. So here is the disclaimer. This is the flow of outline presentation, and we'll start with the first case, high pass RC circuit. So you can see here the input is applied across these two terminals, output is taken from these two terminals. So output is taken across the resistor, then it is referred to as high pass circuit, RC circuit. And if I take the output, meaning if I interchange the two components, fine, and if I take the output across the capacitor and if I connect the resistor here, then it acts as a low pass circuit. Now the circuit shown in this figure 8.1 is of high pass RC circuit. Now let us try to analyze this in brief. The reactance of the capacitor is given as Xc equals to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. Fine. Or we can say Xc is inversely proportional to 1 by F. That is, reactance Xc of the circuit capacitor decreases with the increase in frequency. So thus at lower frequencies the capacitor C in this case, okay, it offers considerable reactance and it blocks them, but at higher frequency it offers a little reactance and allows them to pass through it. The output voltage is developed across the series resistor R. Fine. And since the circuit blocks and attenuates the low frequencies but allows high frequency signals to pass through it, the circuit is called high pass RC circuit. Now with the increase in frequency, the reactance of the capacitor decreases from this equation, and therefore the output and gain increases. So at very high frequencies the capacitive reactance becomes very small, so the output becomes almost equal to the input and the gain becomes equal to unity. Since this circuit attenuates the low frequency signals and allows transmission of high frequency signals with little or no attenuation, it is also referred to as high pass circuit. Now because of its blocking property for DC or low frequency input signals, the capacitor acts like an open circuit and blocks the signal. Now this is the reason that the capacitor in this circuit is also referred to as blocking capacitor. So this capacitor is referred to as blocking capacitor. Now this circuit is widely employed as a coupling circuit to provide isolation between the input and the output. Now in this experiment we are supposed to apply a specific input signal as an Vi. So typically as far as the analysis is concerned, we can apply a step input, we can apply a pulse input, but for our practical application, for scenario, we are going to apply a square wave input. So let me draw a signal here, a square wave input. What is important here is the time constant. Okay, this is the input signal. Let me write this as Vi, and these are the voltage levels V1 and this is V2, and let us mark this as time T1 and this is T2. If it is a square wave, then T1 has to be equal to T2, and this is with respect to time T. Now if we apply a number of pulses, fine, which is alternative, positive and negative, okay, it is referred to as a square wave input. So it consists of positive and negative unit step functions having their discontinuity at certain intervals. Fine. This is referred to as point of discontinuity. For any periodic input waveform, the output is also a periodic waveform of same period, and the average level of the steady state output signal is always 0, and it is independent of DC level of the input. Now this is the most important criteria. Again, let me repeat this. For any periodic input waveform, the output is also a periodic waveform of same period, and the average level of the steady state output signal is always 0, and it is independent of the DC level. Fine. Now the shape of the output waveform, it is referred here as linear because of this linear components. Wave input signal is a square wave input signal, and this circuit is going to change the shape of the input signal, so it is referred to as wave shaping circuit. Now the shape of the output waveform is the waveform which will be available across these 2 points. The shape of the output waveforms in this case is going to depend upon the time constant RC. This is most important. So a time constant is nothing but a product of R into C, time constant. Fine. If RC by T1 and RC by T2 are very large in comparison with unity, then the output will be identical to the input waveform. Very large with respect to time period T, in comparison to unity, the output will be identical to the input waveform. On the other hand, if I have RC by T1 and RC by T2 very small as compared to unity, then the output will consist of alternate positive and negative peaks. Positive and negative peaks, whereas here we are going to get identical waveform, similar, meaning similar to the input waveform. Fine. Now these waveforms we have separately shown in the different slide. So to just remember, there are 3 different conditions possible here. RC equals to T, RC very much greater than T, RC very much less than equal to very much less than to T. So these are the 3 conditions possible. Now out of these 3 conditions, okay, when RC is very much less than T, okay, what we get is a output which is referred to as differentiator. Fine. So when RC is very much less than T, this circuit will act as a differentiator. All these details are explained in the theory, so you can go through it. Now to make this circuit, meaning I'm going to get this as the output. Let me change the color. So I'm going to get a spikes. This is called as a differentiator. So this is now a typical differentiator circuit, provided I set the value of R and C which is very much less than equal to T. T is decided by the frequency, the timing interval. Okay, all these things are related. So the output voltage across R will be a derivative of the input voltage. It is important to note that merely an RC circuit will not provide the voltage across R as derivative. So if I simply connect any value of R and C, I am not going to get the derivative of the input signal. I have to satisfy this condition. What is the condition? RC should be very much less as compared to the time period T. So the time constant RC of the circuit should be much smaller than the time period of the input signal. That is, if this condition is satisfied, only then I am going to get this as an output, that is the spikes. If it is reverse, then I am going to get identical output, similar output. Fine. And next thing is, this is the first criteria for differentiator, and the second criteria is that the value of Xc. What is Xc? The reactance offered by the capacitor, which is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc, should not be smaller than 10 times of R. So Xc should be greater than 10 times of R. Now, if these 2 conditions are satisfied, I am going to get a spikes. Okay, all this possible output for these 3 conditions are shown in the later part of this presentation, but the takeaway of this slide is that the value of RC should be very much less than T. Only in that case I am going to get a spike. Now what are the application of high pass RC circuit? The circuit with RC very much greater as compared to 2 is greater as compared to T is employed in RC coupling of amplifiers where distortion and differentiation of waveform is to be avoided. So if I take RC very much greater as compared to T is the time period of the input signal, then it can be used for reducing the distortion in amplifiers. Fine. And if I take RC very much less than T, then it is used as in triggering pulses for electronic circuits, like for example multivibrators. What is the use of this type of output signal? These are basically used as a triggering pulses for multivibrators and flip-flop that we have studied. Fine. This was all about a high pass RC circuit. Now let us try to understand about low pass RC circuit. Now you see here the low pass RC circuit as shown in this figure. In this a low pass RC circuit, the output voltage V out or VO is taken across the capacitor. The resistance offers a fixed opposition here. Since the reactance offered by the capacitor C falls with the increase in the frequency, low frequency signal develop across the capacitor, but signal of frequency above cutoff frequency, that is F2, develops negligible voltage across the capacitor C. Fine. So at zero frequency, so this capacitor is going to offer a reactant Xc equals to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. Now let us try to understand. The input is kept constant, okay, and frequency is varied. So at zero frequency meaning it's a DC voltage. So at zero frequencies the capacitor 1 by 0 is infinity. So it will offer very high resistance. So there won't be any current passing through this wire. So whatever we are applying here at the input will be available at the output. So at zero frequency the capacitor acts as an open circuit and the output is same as the input. So it is just like a two parallel wires. However, with the increase in the frequency, so as I keep on increasing the frequency, the capacitive reactance decreases, and so the output voltage will decrease because the output voltage V equals to I into R. So it is directly proportional to the value of resistance R. So at infinite frequency, the capacitive reactance of the circuit becomes 0. So if I take F equals to infinite, 1 by infinity is 0. So this becomes a short circuit and the output voltage across the short is always 0. Fine. So the output voltage when F equals to infinity, okay, it will be 0. So since it passes the low frequencies signals and blocks the high frequency signals, it is referred to as low pass circuit. I hope this is clear to everyone. So this capacitor has a major role to play. This is a fixed value of resistance. It will always offer some kind of resistance, but ultimately the gain of the output signal depends upon the value of this reactance, which again is a function of frequency. So if I keep the voltage constant at say 20 or say 2 volts, and if I vary the frequency from 0 to infinity, so at 0 frequency, fine, F equal to 0, 1 by 0 is infinity, so it will act as an open circuit. Entire signal will be available at the output, and if I set frequency equals to infinity, then the resistance offered by this capacitor, that is reactance, will be 0, so it will act as good as a short circuit. I hope this is clear. Now what we need to understand here is by applying input, we should observe the output. The input signal can be a step signal, it can be pulse input, but for our syllabus point of view, what is important is the square wave input. Now for example, if we apply this as the input, okay, time interval is T1 for this half, T2, and it's repeated, and the voltage is V, okay, at some DC level. So this is referred to as average or DC level. So these are the two sets of voltages, V prime and V double prime. So this is V in, okay. Now there are three conditions here. One is RC very much less than T, RC equals to T, and RC very much greater than T. So when RC is, and we are trying to understand what will be the output waveform if we change the value of R and C. T is the time period of the input signal. How do I calculate it? From the frequency. Fine. So T is inversely proportional to F. So I'll depending upon the input signal frequency, I'm going to get a value of T. Fine. R, C are the values of these capacitors and resistors. Okay, this has been explained in detail in the next slides. Now, what if I take RC very much less than T? Then in that case, we are going to get this as the output. This output right now is not as per scale, but then you can refer the simulated output that we have shown in the further slides. And if RC equals to this is what we are going to get. And for RC very much greater than T, this is the output waveform. So basically what we have achieved here, input signal is the same, the output signal has undergone a change in the wave shape. And how it is accounted? By changing the value of R and C. Of the three conditions, only when RC is very much greater than T, okay, third case, this is the third case, here is the second case, this is the first case, okay. Only when RC is very much greater than T, we can refer this circuit as integrator, remember. Fine. Now, what is R and C? This is a time constant. So product of R and C is the time constant, which can be found using multiplying the value of R with the value of C. Okay, so I'm going to get some value in terms of microseconds or millisecond depending upon the powers here, and then T is from the frequency. Okay, so you can compare the two. So there are three cases: RC equals to T, RC very much less than T, RC very much greater than T. So if you like, this is 1 millisecond, this can be 10 milliseconds, so it is greater than T. So in that case, we are going to get this as an output, that is a triangular. So a circuit that gives an output voltage directly proportional to the integral of its input is referred to as integrating circuit. Let me repeat this statement again, important thing. The circuit that gives an output voltage directly proportional to the integral of its input is referred to as integrating circuit. Let me write here, integrating circuit, or output equals to integral of input. Now this is a typical integrating circuit. The output voltage across C will be integral of the input voltage. Fine. Now it is important to note that merely an RC circuit will not provide a voltage across capacitor C as an integral of the input. By just connecting 100 kilo ohms and say 1 microfarad here, it will not guarantee me that I am going to get the integral of the input signal, because there are three different cases possible. Fine. Now the conditions to be fulfilled for making this RC series circuit as an integrator is, the first condition, just like in the high pass for differentiator we had two conditions, again there are two conditions here, okay, to act as a integrator. The time constant RC of the circuit should be very large as compared to time period of the input signal. And secondly, the value of R should not be smaller than 10 times the capacitive reactance. That means the value of R should be greater than 10 times XC or 10 times 2 pi FC. Followed? So when the given RC circuit fulfills the above conditions, then the voltage appearing across capacitor C will be integral of the input. Fine. Again, this is explained in detail in the next few slides. Now, what are the applications of low pass RC circuit? Now, the RC circuit with a time constant larger than the time period of the input wave, that is RC very much greater than T, are used as a bypass capacitors. The low pass filters are also employed in generation of triangular and ramp waveforms. You can make out from this output. It also finds application in discrimination between pulses of different length. So integrators are almost invariably preferred over differentiators in analog computer application, and there are various reasons for it. The first one is the gain of the integrator falls with the increase in frequency, whereas the gain of the differentiator increases nominally linearly with the frequency. So it is easier to stabilize the former than the latter with respect to spurious oscillations. The second point, an integrator is less sensitive to noise voltages than the differentiator because of its limited bandwidth. The third point, the amplifier of a differentiator may get overloaded in case the input waveform changes very rapidly. And the final point is that it is more convenient to introduce an initial condition as an integrator. Fine. So these are the points why we prefer integrators over differentiators in analog computer applications. So here is the aim of our experiment to design high pass and low pass circuit for different time constant. When I say different time constant, meaning there are three cases: RC greater than T, RC less than T, and RC equals to T. Okay, and to study the operation of high pass RC circuit as differentiator and integrator, as what we have discussed, there are three cases possible, but out of which only one case will get us integrator and one case will get us differentiator for high pass and low pass respectively. Now these are the components required: power supply, resistors, capacitor. So I marked here asterisks. So according to design, we have to select these values. So here are the circuit diagrams. One is for high pass RC circuit, second one is for low pass RC circuit. In case of high pass RC circuit, the output is taken across the resistor. In case of low pass RC circuit, the output is taken across the capacitor. This is the theory. You can pause this slide and you can go through it. This is high pass RC circuit acting as a differentiator. Low pass, okay. A slight mistake that I have done here. This is typical typos. This is to the power 3. Okay, kindly make the changes when you are writing. 10 to the power 3. So if I take R equals to 100k, frequency has been set to 1 kilohertz. So the signal what I am considering for the input has a frequency of 1 kilohertz. Okay, and input can be set to, it is not mentioned, so you can set it to 2 volts peak to peak, okay, using function generator and CRO. So this is the input signal. So when it comes to the, this is what high pass meaning capacitor and a output is taken across the resistor. So we have got three cases: 1, 2, 3. RC very much less than T, RC equals to T, RC very much greater than T. Fine. So for the first case, let us take RC equals to 10 times T. Fine. Isolate R equals to 100k, F equals to 1k. Substitute in this expression and get the value of C. C is 0.1 microfarad. For medium time constant, that is RC equals to T, similar. Fine. And for RC very much less than T, the value of capacitor turns out to be 0.001 microfarad. So these are ceramic capacitor. How to decode them, everything has been explained in demonstration video. So depending upon the values of R and C, we can get, if it is a high pass circuit, we can get the spikes. And similarly for low pass circuit, so design procedure is similar. Fine. So I will not explain it again. So for RC low pass circuit, only when RC is very much greater than T, you are going to get a triangular waveform. Fine. So here is the procedure. Here I have mentioned the what should be the signal, input signal, 2 volts peak to peak square wave with a frequency of 1 kilohertz, and by setting it to RC equals to 10 times T or RC equal to T by 10, all these three conditions are satisfied, and we have to verify the output values with the theoretical calculations. This is the case. This is for high pass RC circuit. When RC equals to T, this is condition. When RC is very much greater than T, this is the output. Okay, and this is the input signal, and what you see spikes here is the output. So only when we have RC very much less than T, you are going to get a spikes. Then it will act as a differentiator. Clear? This is for RC low pass circuit. Only when you have RC very much greater than T, it will act as an integrator. I hope this is clear. In fact, I have to make change here. This is the input signal, square wave, and here a triangular waveform. What you see is the output waveform. So by properly selecting the value of RC, fine, for a given value of frequency, that is T time period, we can get a triangular waveform, that is the integral of a square wave with a triangle. Fine. And then you have to note down the values. So if you are finding it difficult, so you can pause the video, take the screenshot and note down the peak to peak value, how much the shoot it has undergone. Fine. And you have to note down the, you can skip this observation, you can directly note down the values for RC very much less than T equal to T and very much greater as compared to T. Then again, conclusion, you have to write it in your own words. After understanding the demonstration video, what you have observed, all those things have to be mentioned here in the conclusion. And these are the Viva Voce questions. Go through it. And if you want to download this write up, you can refer to this site. This has been already uploaded here, or alternatively you can also download it from this home page of mine, or I'll also upload this on your ICTCA classroom. Fine. So without wasting much time, we'll go into the demonstration video. Wherever you find any difficulty, pause it, try to understand. If still it is difficult for you to understand, then you can post a question in the classroom. Thank you.
Okay, hi students. Okay, now this is the last experiment that will be showing you all. Okay, so it is linear wave shaping circuits. Okay, in that there are two sections. One is integrator and one is the differentiator. Okay, basically integrator is a low pass RC circuit and a differentiator is a high pass RC circuit. Okay, so integrator will have R, okay, and C circuit. Okay, here it is R is first and then is C, and in case of a differentiator we have a capacitor here and then a resistor here. So what is the difference between the two? It is resistor here and then capacitor, and then in case of differentiator we have capacitor and a resistor. Now first we will not see about this circuit. Okay, we will only see how this integrator works. Okay, so we have three conditions that we will be discussing. When T is less than when T is very much less than RC, when T is equal to RC, and when T is very much greater than RC. So out of these three cases, only in this particular case, when T is very much less than RC, it behaves as a integrator. So whenever, if you give a square wave signal, you will get a triangular waveform over here. So what we have done is that we have taken three cases. Okay, we have kept this fixed. We have kept this resistor fixed, and then we have taken three values of capacitor. One is 104 or 0.01 microfarad in one case. In the other case 100k and 0.01 microfarad, and in the third case 100k and 0.01 microfarad. Okay. Now what are the expected waveforms that you will get? It is like this. Okay. So when it is RC is equal to T, you will be expected to get this kind of waveforms. Okay, when RC is very much greater than C, then when you give a square wave input, you will be getting a triangular waveform. This is where it works as a integrator. And when RC is very much less than T, you will get waveforms like this. Okay, so we'll see. So we have these three combinations over here. I have already connected. This is R and this one value of C. As per this, I have connected as per what the diagram that we have shown over here. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3 combinations. So what I have done is that I have used a function generator. I have set it to 2 volts peak to peak for square wave. Okay, at 1 kilohertz. Okay, so what I am doing is that, okay, I am giving input from the function generator to the first circuit. Okay, what I have done is that I have shorted all the, I require to see input and output of the circuit. So input, if this will show me the input, this will show me the output of the indicator, and I have to give input to the indicator also. So these grounds I have connected together and just kept one wire so that it makes easier for us to understand. Okay, so we need to just check what is input and what is output. Okay, so what we have done is that, okay, so just see the waveform. Okay, now please just we will concentrate on this part, okay, where it behaves as an indicator properly when RC is greater than T. Okay, so what I have done is that I have given input to the input of the indicator, okay, to this hello, okay, and then ground I have connected across this capacitor which is over here. Okay, now I have connected input over here. Okay, now see what is coming in. So just see how you are getting output. So for a square wave input, you are getting proper triangular waveforms, correct? No, so in this case it behaves as a proper indicator. You just need to see these waveforms. Okay, you need not measure in this particular experiment. Okay, so for square wave inputs, you are getting a proper triangular output. Okay, now we'll see this case. Okay, when RC is less than T, how does it behave? Okay, so again what I will do, I will connect ground over here. Okay, and I will give input to this over here, and just we'll try to see what you're getting at the output. Okay, yes, okay, we're getting appropriate results. Okay, see, it is the same what we have drawn over here. Okay, so we were trying to understand how this indicator works in the previous part. Okay, we are actually doing linear wave shaping circuits, experiments on linear wave shaping circuits. We have already seen how the indicator works. Now we'll see how the differentiator works. The only difference between the indicator circuit and the differentiator circuit is we have R here and then C here for indicator, but here we have capacitor here and then resistor. So this is basically a low pass circuit, that is indicator, and differentiator is basically a high pass circuit. Okay, now we will try to implement this circuit. Okay, now here you can see here we have taken some cases. Okay, now this is when RC is equal to T. Okay, so expected waveforms are like this. Okay, and then when RC is equal to 10 times T, you should get expected waveforms like this. And then when RC is very much less than T, your differentiator, your circuit works as a differentiator. For square wave input, okay, you get proper spikes. So this circuit works as a differentiator only when RC is less than T, or when RC is equal to 0.1 times T. So what we have done is that we have taken, in this case, we will see this case only. So in this case what we have done is the resistor is 100 kilo ohm and a capacitor is 0.001 microfarad, that is 102 number. Okay, so same thing I have placed over here. So we have a capacitor there 102. Okay, we have a capacitor. Okay, and then we have a resistor here of 100 kilo ohms. Okay, it is not exactly 100, it is slightly less than that. Okay, and then I have given input of 2 volts, a square wave input I have given, okay, at 1 kilohertz. Okay, so if you see the waveform on the CRO, okay, see, for this square wave you are getting perfect spikes. Okay, so here the circuit is working as proper differentiator. So the circuit works as proper differentiator. Okay, at this particular condition when RC is less than T. Okay, so for this is the square wave input that we have given, and these are the spikes that you are getting at the output. Okay, proper differentiation we are getting. Okay. Okay, so what I will do is that now I will just show you this. Okay, so this is the input, square wave input, and this is the output. Okay, so this is the square wave over here, and you are getting a perfect spike. Okay, so for this part of the input waveform, you are getting a negative spike. So it is acting exactly as a differentiator. Okay, now we'll take this case. Okay, when RC is equal to T, we'll see how the waveform is looking like. So what I will do is that I will just remove this capacitor and replace it with 103 capacitor, that is 0.01 microfarad. Now if you can see on the CRO, see how you are getting the output. See, I'll just show you. Okay, I'll just superimpose. Okay, on CRO you don't get those straight lines like this. Okay, so if you see on the nodes, just show on the nodes, the waveforms on the nodes are exactly matching with the waveforms on the CRO. Okay, so in this particular condition, it doesn't work as an indicator when RC is equal to T.